नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा नमो तस्सा भगवतो अरहतो सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा इति पिसो भगवारहं सम्मा सम्बुद्धो विद्याचरण संपन्नो सुगतो लोकविदु अनुत्तरो पुरिसधम्मसारथि सत्ता देव मनुष्याणां बुद्धो भगवाति नमो तस्स सम्मा सम्बुद्धस्सा स्वाख्यातो भगवता धम्मो संदिटीको अकालिको एहिपस्सिको वपनायको पश्चतं वेदितव्यो विन्नुहीति नमो तस्सनियानिकस्य धम्मसा सुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो उजुपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो न्यायपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो सामीचिपटिपन्नो भगवतो सावक संगो यदिदं चत्तारि पुरिसयुगानि अट्टपुरिसपुग्गल एषा भगवतो सावक संगो आहुनेयो पाहुनेयो दक्षिणेयो अंजलिकरणीयो अनुत्तरं पुण्यखेतं लोकस्साति नमो तस्स अट्ट अर्य पुग्गला महासंगसा सुखिवन्तु मंगलम. So today this is the last section, last and the final section of Lord Buddha's the great demise, Mahāparinibbāna. The first five these sections, they're about, like, say, Buddha knew it very well that when he's supposed to take this Mahāparinibbāna and where to take Mahāparinibbāna. And he has to prepare himself, of course, that is one thing. Second thing, he has to prepare the disciples also to take his message correctly, authoritatively, clearly, because after that he will be no more, and they should not be in any kind of confusion. They should be very clear about the very mission. So that is the mission, like achieving enlightenment, nibbana, liberation. For that, the path, the learning, the teachings, and how they could absorb and learn it authoritatively. That he wanted to make sure. So he started traveling from Rajgir to Kushinara. It was a long journey. Rajgir is somewhere the southern side of Bihar, and Kushinara is in the northern side of UP. It's quite a long journey, crossing entire Bihar in the sense in the northern direction, and many parts of UP also. And of course, there were so many millions of disciples, and he could meet them and he could give his last message. So that is the idea of this long journey. Zubihor is the Mahāparinibbāna, and he clarified the doubts of many people. And even as we have seen in this fifth section, so even on this deathbed, he could liberate, he could give the authoritative, correct, suitable message, suitable teaching to this Subhadda, a wandering ascetic. And he was having this confusion. So many people, they climb, they are enlightened, they know the path, they have all the wisdom, but whether they are really enlightened, even now also, you might have seen so many kinds of people, they try to claim that they are enlightened. Then Buddha said, don't worry whether they're enlightened or not. It is. So that's how the world is, human world. Everybody, they have that, what you call that bhavatanaha, or that show off, or that hypocrisy that is very much there in the world. So don't worry about all those things. Now you practice this, so and so, this and this. So in that way, Buddha, when he told this this Subhadda, then Subhadda, he learned the path, and in no time he became an arahant. That's what happened. And then in this last section, so this Ananda, he was after all, he was not a arahant. He was still weeping and wailing. And because of two reasons. One, of course, he was so dear to Buddha. The second reason is like he was still a Seka, means like still a learner. He was not an arahant. He was thinking about his future also. Now teacher is no more. Then who will teach me? Then how I can achieve the goal of this enlightenment? Then Buddha, he again convinced him, consoled him, of course, by praising his punya, his different punya kriyas. Buddha consoled him. And again, Buddha consoled him. Don't worry. My teachings are there. If my absence, my teachings are there. So you do not bother about whether I should be present or not present for your liberation. And because of your punya, your inclination, your so many abilities that you have, your intelligence, your memory, and based on that, the way you serve, that punya, and the knowledge that you have accumulated. He was having tremendous memory, elephant's memory. He could grasp each and every word of Buddha, and he could remember each and every word of Buddha. With all that knowledge, with all the service, with all the like say skillfulness in handling different kinds of people and helping them to get this knowledge, it's tremendous punya and wisdom you have, and Dhamma is already with you, and within no time you too will become a liberated, an arahant. In that way, Buddha consoled him. And again, Buddha gave some instructions to the monastic order, what they have to do, how they should behave with one another. So, and after that, it was actually all these things are going on when he was lying down on some prepared bed under those two sal trees in this Kushinara, in this Mallas, this sal grew, sal forest, that sal grew, sal forest. He was lying on one prepared bed, and there only, it's like deathbed. There only Buddha is giving so many instructions, lot of instructions to different kinds of people, and many people like this, they came to visit him and instructing them, blessing them. It was going on. And then there was one person by name Channa. Channa, he was the charioteer of Buddha when he was the prince Siddhartha. And also he was of same age of Buddha, and he was very close to Buddha. After all, he was a friend. He was like more like a friend to Buddha. And he was the one actually who took Buddha, and he explained about these different, like say, the life events in a human being, like the death or the sickness or the death, this old age. Buddha was so innocent because he was grown up in very secluded, or not exactly. It was like one kind of in a very posh environment with so many palaces, with so many entertaining people around him, and he had never seen a old person or a sick person. So when he went for this outing with his Channa, and that Channa is the one who explained Buddha about the old age, about the death, about sickness. And he was, of course, close friend of Buddha also, not only just charioteer and servant of Buddha. And because of all this, he had developed some kind of ego. He had developed a lot of proudness and arrogance and ego. I am so close to Buddha. So that kind of proudness. And that proudness is a big barrier for his spiritual progress, you see. And he used to degrade the great disciples like Sariputta and Moggallana and so many other disciples like Mahākassapa also. He was not listening to anyone. Then many people complained, but still he could not mend his ways. Then at this last moment, then Buddha told Ananda and the monastic order, so now it is the time for you to give what is called Brahma Danda. Brahma Danda means Brahma penalty. Penalty. Danda means like penalty to this Channa because of his stubbornness and arrogance. What you should do, you give this Brahma Danda or Brahma penalty. Brahma penalty means like it's the highest penalty in that sense. You use this word Brahma Danda or Brahma penalty. Great penalty in that sense. This Brahma Danda is used. What is that great penalty? Nobody should talk to him. Nobody should talk to Channa, and completely developing some kind of disconnect with Channa that will subdue his ego. So he will mend his ways, and he will become humble in learning, and he will become an arhat, or he will progress in his spirituality. Spiritual progress he can achieve. That is what is the intention of Buddha. And that also he instructed Ananda and the monastic order to tame this Channa, who was so stubborn, thinking that he is very close to Buddha and no other disciple of Buddha, however great he may be, the chief disciples or the senior-most disciples, they are nothing in front of me because I am so close to Buddha. Buddha is my friend. So that was the ego in his mind. To subdue that, Buddha ordered Brahma. And again, so so Buddha asked them whether you have some doubt in the teaching. If you want to clarify any doubts, because after this is the last chance for you to ask questions and clarify your doubts. After that, I will not be available. Out of respect, nobody asked question because that is the last moment, and of course they were having a lot of respect, and they didn't ask Buddha. Again, Buddha continued. Maybe out of respect, you are not in a position to ask any question, but you can tell your friend on behalf of you. Your friend can ask your question to me. That is one more option Buddha gave. You see how compassionate Buddha. So if you can't ask directly, then you can tell your question to your friend, and your friend can ask that question on behalf of you. That time also nobody asked. Then this Ananda, he thought it is very wonderful. It's wonderful, Lord, it is marvelous. I clearly perceive that in this assembly, there is not one monk who has doubts or uncertainty. So this is wonderful. So this huge congregation, not even a single monk has having this any doubt in the teachings. Even though they were asked to, like say, pose the question through their friend, maybe out of respect, they don't want to ask, but still there is not even a single question. This is wonderful in that way. When Buddha exclaimed, when Ananda explained, then Buddha said, yes. So you are out of faith, you are saying that. So indirectly, this Ananda is telling, all are enlightened ones, all these monks are enlightened ones, or they know authoritatively, at least they are Sotapannas. So out of faith, this Ananda exclaimed. But Buddha said, out of faith you are saying. But I know very well the minds of all these monks. All of them are enlightened. At least the Sotapanna state they have achieved. They are incapable of falling into the woeful state. That's why they don't have any question. That way Buddha answered to this Ananda's inquiry. Then this is the last statement Buddha gives just before his passing away. What is the last statement? Anichyavata sankara. All things are, these conditioned things are impermanent. I declare to you, all conditioned things are of nature of decay. They are changing, decay. They will go away. Strive on untiringly. Appamadena sampadeta. Appamadena sampadeta means strive to understand this impermanent nature. Be aware, be conscious, be watchful. Just get rid of all these unnecessary worldly distractions. Be watchful. Even with the world also be watchful. Even with the body also be watchful. Even with the mind also be watchful. Watchfulness is the message, the last message. Appamadena sampadeta. Mindfulness, watchfulness, heedfulness. Not only to achieve Nibbana, even in the world also, even for the worldly success, worldly handling of the world, the people, the tasks. Watchfulness is the watchword, is the key word. So that is the last message given by Buddha. Everything is anicca. Realize that authoritatively, and the way to realize that authoritatively is watchfulness. The more you become watchful, the more you become successful in your worldly aspirations also. Definitely you will become successful. You can penetrate into the ultimate nature of the body and mind, and through your watchfulness, and even spiritually also. That means you want to liberate, you want to get liberation from body and mind also. Watchfulness is the key. That is the watchword given by Buddha. You see, the watchfulness is the watchword given by Buddha. So the last instruction. Then after that, what happened? Buddha, he entered into first jhana. After this last instruction. So he entered into first jhana. I used to tell you about the absorptions, the right concentration, the absorption. The first absorption is first jhana, where you transcend the body. The first jhana, you start transcension of the body senses. You enter into the mind sense. In the mind sense, vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekagrata, this mind factor, these 5 factors of jhana will remain. So that is the first jhana. So Buddha entered into first jhana. Transcending sensations, transcending sounds, transcending breath. He entered into this first jhana, the first absorption, using this nimitta. Nimitta, that light of concentration, is actually, it is the object of mind sense. So using that nimitta, the light of concentration, so he entered into first jhana. And then from first jhana, he entered into, leaving that first jhana, he entered into second jhana, second absorption. There, vitakka vichara, even little bit of mind wobbling, that also will go away. Only piti, sukha, ekagrata, the pure mind, which emanates piti, joy, sukha, happiness, ekagrata, concentration, and ekagrata concentration, there will be equanimity also. So in these 3 jhana factors, piti, sukha, ekagrata, that will be there in the second jhana, second absorption. So Buddha entered into that second absorption. Then the third absorption, even that piti, that joy also will not be there. Even that joy also, it will slightly disturb the mind. So in the third jhana, he gave up the piti, that joy also, left with only sukha and ekagrata, little bit of very, very calm, very composed happiness, and one-pointedness, ekagrata was there. And even he gave up that third jhana by giving up that sukha, that very composed happiness also he gave up. And the mind established in the fourth jhana. The fourth jhana, the last jhana factor, ekagrata, one-pointedness was there. that one-pointedness is there, then automatically equanimity will be there. So that's why the absolute equanimity and absolute one-pointedness, they go hand in hand. So in the fourth jhana, Buddha remained in that ekagata, in that equanimity. And again, he did not stop there. He entered into the fifth jhana, which is also called as this infinity of space jhana, akasanchayatana. That is infinity of space. So even transcending this, like giving up this body and mind business. So the mind just completely embraces the infinity of space, akasanchayatana. That is the fifth jhana. Then after that, he gave up that fifth jhana also. He entered into infinity of consciousness, jnananchayatana. Only just even the space also you will not perceive. You just experience only infinite consciousness, spreading all in all directions, entire world system or universe, infinite. You can't decide whether that consciousness it has reached the world system or universe. So it's like it's infinite. That's what it's called. Infinity of consciousness, infinite consciousness, the jhana of infinite consciousness, or Vijnana Chaitanya. That is what is the sixth jhana. And after that, even he gave up that. After leaving that sixth jhana, he entered into the seventh jhana. That is infinity of nothingness, not even consciousness. You don't realize that there is consciousness. You realize there is nothing. No space, no consciousness. It's all like a kind of emptiness. That is the seventh jhana. That is infinite actually. It is again infinite emptiness. Akinchayatana. Akinchanyayatana. That is the infinite nothingness, the infinite nothingness state. He reached in that seventh jhana. Then that also he gave up. He just absorbed into the eighth jhana. It's called the infinity of neither perception nor non-perception. Nevasanya, nasanya, nevasanyayatana. Nasanya, nevasanyayatana. That means neither perception nor non-perception. So that is the eighth jhana, where even the perception that there is something called mind, that also will become so feeble. That's why it's called neither perception nor non-perception becomes so feeble. So that eighth jhana he could enter. Then he could not stop there also. Beyond that, these anagamis and arahants, they have the power to enter into one more state, even beyond this eighth jhana. And that is called Nirodha Samapatti. Complete cessation of the feeling and perception. So that stage, that state of mind he entered. Only the arahants and anagamis, they could enter into that stage. And of course, many of you know, generally 1 week they stay in that stage of that Nirodha Samapatti, or in this stage beyond this cessation of feeling and stage of cessation of feeling and perception. Sanya, Vedana, Nirodha. So completely it stops, Vedana and Sanya. Almost like dead only. But still, the beauty is the heat in the body will remain, and the Jivitendriya, life force, will remain. Life force and heat will remain. Rest, all other faculties of the mind, faculties of the body, they are gone, they are dead. Only heat and the life force will remain, the body life force. So that stage Buddha entered. And you know, that stage, anagamis and arhants, they can stay for 1 week. And during that time, the body also can't be uh, destroyed or hurt or harmed by any other this physical like this fire or water or wind or nothing can destroy the body. Mm. So there is one incident that happened when Pacheka Buddha, when he entered into this Nirodha Samapatti. Even some people, they tried to burn him, but nothing, his body could not be affected by that fire. So that is the one very, very special state of mind. Only the Arahants and Anagamis could reach that. So that state Buddha entered after eighth jhana. And of course, he did not again stay there. Again, he started in the reverse order. So he came back to again the eighth jhana, the state of neither perception, the sphere of neither perception nor non-perception. Neva sanya nasanyayatana. So that state he entered. And again the seventh one, Akinchanyayatana, the sphere of nothingness. And again the previous two, that seventh one, that is sixth one, that is Vinyanan Chayatana, that is the sphere of infinite consciousness. Then again the previous one, Akasan Chayatana, the sphere of infinite space. And again from there moved down to the fourth jhana to third jhana to second jhana to first jhana. Actually, one interesting thing happened here. When Buddha entered into this Nirodha Samapatti, Ananda thought now Buddha has left. Now he passed away. Then he told Aniruddha, who was next to Ananda. You know, Aniruddha, he was again cousin of Buddha and cousin of Ananda also. They are of same age. And you know, this Aniruddha, he had one special ability. It's called divine eye, Dibba Chakku. So when a person hit that too, he is expert. He is the most skillful in this. The Dibba Chakku, Etadagga title means the foremost in Dibba Chakku title was given to this Aniruddha because he was so skillful, so expert in this Dibba Chakku, in this divine eye. So he could see all these subtle things where the mind is transcending, even the mind of Buddha, where it is going, from which jhana to which jhana it is going, from what sphere it is going to the next sphere, the different progress that's going on, that he could see. When Buddha entered this Nirodha Samapatti, Ananda thought, now Buddha left, he passed away. The same thing he expressed. Oh, Buddha passed away in that way when he expressed. Then this Aniruddha said, no, Ananda now is in this Nirodha Samapatti. Because of his Dibba Chakku, his special ability to see the transcending of even the Buddha's mind. That too, at the time of this Mahāparinibbāna. Such a subtle thing it is. But you see the power of this Aniruddha, who has developed this Dibba Chakku, he could see how this Buddha's mind is transcending. Then after that, again, all these things happened. Downward movement of the mind started of Buddha up to first jhana. And again from first jhana, he started moving to the fourth jhana. First to second, second to third, third to fourth jhana. And from that fourth jhana, Buddha gave up this life force. And leaving the fourth jhana, the Lord finally passed away. And at the blessed Lord's final passing, there was a great earthquake, terrible and hair-raising, accompanied by thunder, and Brahma Sahampati uttered this verse. See, as I was telling you, when Buddha, 3 months before his Mahāparinibbāna, when Buddha decided to give up the life force, bit by bit, the beginning of giving up of life force, it started 3 months back itself, 3 months ago. And that time also there was great earthquake. But now finally, completely, the life force is given up and Buddha completely entered into this Mahāparinibbāna. Then again there was an earthquake. Complete world system, it will shake. During different stages, different life events, these things happen when Buddha takes birth, enters into his mother's womb and takes birth, and then before enlightenment, these earthquakes, this is universal. This is one the law of the universe. When these Samma Sambuddhas, Supreme Buddhas arise in the world, these things will happen. So when this happened, Brahma Sahampati, there was one Brahma, I remember, that Brahma, that great Brahma, he requested Buddha to start his mission of liberating people immediately after Buddha's enlightenment. When Buddha thought that this is such a profound knowledge, the people, they are engrossed in all these worldly things. They can't understand this. It is simply waste of my time and energy. I was simply teaching this. If I start teaching this, I don't think it will give results. It will yield results. Let me go to Himalayas and be in this Nibbana, this state of Nibbana, and that's what Buddha thought. That time this Brahma Sahampati, he requested Buddha. At least a few people can understand. Please go ahead. Please teach. In that way he requested. And of course there was a reason for that. Without request, Buddhas, they're not supposed to teach. Because of, again, the people will develop some kind of faith, some receptivity to learn, and then there is a higher possibility of learning the things more effectively. So that there are so many reasons behind that, and this Brahma Sahampati is the one who requested Buddha to teach, and now it's the same Buddha, same Brahma Sahampati, who is like, say, who exclaimed because of Buddha, and of course because of Brahma Sahampati also, millions and millions of beings, they became enlightened, and now the Buddha's mission is completed. A kind of satisfaction and a kind of like say dukkha also, some kind of sadness also. This Brahma Sahampati, he declared, now all beings in the world, all bodies must break up. Even the teacher, peerless in the human world, the mighty Lord and perfect Buddha also passed away. In that way, he exclaimed. There's so many emotions here, you see. There was satisfaction, there was a kind of a feeling of contentment that the mission is accomplished, and also a feeling of sadness that such a great being who liberated millions of the entrapped beings, including the Devas, humans, even the Brahmas also. Now he is no more. That is a kind of sadness also. With all these mixed feelings, this Brahma Sahampati declared that, of course, all the conditioned things, anicca sankara, all the conditioned things, they have to change, they have to break up. Even the teacher, the peerless of in the human world, the teacher of the Devas and the humans, that mighty Lord and perfect Buddha is also passed away. In that way he declared. The declaration is also a kind of information to all other Brahmas, to all other beings. In the same way, the Sakka, the ruler of the Devas, he also declared, so that his community also should know what he declared, something like in the similar way, impermanent or compounded things, prone to rise and fall. Udayabhaya. So everything just rise and fall, and it's all impermanent, all the compounded things. Having risen, they are destroyed. Their passing is the truest bliss. Complete passing of these conditioned things, sankara. Because of this sankara, conditioned things only, we are carrying this body and mind. When these conditioned things are unconditioned, then that is the truest bliss. That is Nibbana. That is the truest bliss. And the Lord Buddha has reached the truest bliss. In that way, Sakka also, he exclaimed. See, all these Sakka and this Brahma and all, they're all very enlightened beings. Sakka, at least Satapana achieved, but he was very wise and very, very much enlightened. That's why there is no grief and all. Even Brahma Sampati also. He was also enlightened. That's why there is no grief. It is declaration by them so that their community should know that Buddha is no more now. And then Venerable Anuruddha, again among the human beings, now he is the wisest now. Because that time Sariputta and Mangalana, by that time they were no more actually. Before Buddha's Mahāparinibbāna only, they left this world, they achieved Nibbana. They entered into Parinibbāna. Before Buddha's demise, great demise, they had already taken Parinibbāna. This Sariputta and Mangalana. And again, this Anuruddha, this Mahākassapa, there was one more very senior monk. At that time, he was not there. Later, he will appear, that we will see. So that time, it was only Anuruddha who was like the supreme among the disciples of the human disciples. And he also declared, what he declared, no breathing in and out. Just with steadfast heart, the sage who is free from lust has passed away to peace. With mind unshaken, he endured all pains. By Nibbana, the illumined mind is freed. And in that way, he also declared that Buddha is no more. So stop his breathing now. No breathing in and breathing out. So he has conquered everything and he has accomplished his mission. In that way, he also declared this Venerable Anuruddha also. Then finally, Venerable Ananda also declared, because Venerable Ananda, she is like one, everybody, trusted, highly trusted disciple. And he also declared, terrible was the quaking, men's hair stood on end when the all accomplished Buddha passed away. So that quake also happened. Now Buddha has passed away. In that way, Anuruddha, this Ananda also declared. So in that way, these four great beings, one Brahma being, one divine being, one great disciple Anuruddha, who is supreme in this divine eye, he also declared, and Ananda, the chief attendant, whom all the disciples and all the lay people, they trusted him at most, and he also declared. And at that time, many monks also, not only lay people, monks also started crying. Those who are not yet completely liberated, like who are not yet arahants, they also started crying, weeping, wailing. And some of them, they started pulling their hair also. That's what they explained here. Great grief also they experienced, lay people and some monks. And those who achieved Nibbana, they tried to console them. All compounded things are impermanent. What is the use of all this? Of course, our gratitude, love and respect to our master is very much there. But at the same time, we should realize that all compounded things are impermanent. There is no use of wailing and weeping and crying like this. In that way, they try to console others. Then again, Venerable Anuruddha also, enough friends of your weeping and wailing. Has not the Lord already told you that all things that are pleasant and delightful are changeable, subject to separation and to becoming other? So why all these friends? Whatever is born, become compounded, is subject to decay. It cannot be that it does not decay. The Devas, friends, are grumbling. The Devas also, by your behavior, they're grumbling. They will not, they feel bad with your behavior. So that's why don't weep and don't wail and don't behave in this fashion, in this manner. In that way, Venerable Anuruddha also, he told those monks and those, mainly he told the monks. Then again, this Ananda, he inquired with Venerable Anuruddha, what kind of divine beings are there? What kind of divine beings are observing us? Then earthbound divine beings and even the other higher sky devas also they are observing. And even some of them, the earthbound devas also, they are weeping. In that way, this this Anuruddha. Anuruddha is like one kind of announcer, like a commentator and announcer, what's happening in the universe, that he could see and he could announce to the human beings. That is the power of this Anuruddha. So he started announcing what's happening in the divine realms also to Ananda and other monks and other people who assembled there. And of course, again, Devas also, they were among themselves, they used to console those who are weeping. All compounded things are impermanent. What is the use of this? Stop all this. That way, they were consoling the others. You see, that time Ananda and Anuruddha, they discussed about Dhamma, so that that grief should reduce among the monks and other people. And then early morning, he asked Ananda to go and inform all the other mallas in that Kushinara. And there were two kinds of mallas. One are Kushinara mallas, the others are the Pava mallas. There are two provinces. And in both the provinces, only these mallas, they were ruling. But they have made themselves into two provinces. And just go and tell all these Kushinara mallas, because now they are the lay people. Now it is their responsibility for the further actions, what to do, this cremation and this, all these things. That is the duty of the lay people. Now you go and inform these mallas. So all right, in that way, this Ananda, he went with a companion to Kushinara. At the time, the mallas of Kushinara were assembled in their meeting hall on some business. And the Venerable Ananda came to them and delivered the Venerable Anuruddha's message. Actually, previously also they had come, these Kushinara mallas, for 7 days. They met Buddha and they listened to Buddha. And this last day they were not knowing, and most of them, they had left this place, this Sal Guru, where Buddha took Mahāparinibbāna, and they were busy in their business, their worldly things. And they were actually meeting in a meeting hall, and they were discussing some political or financial thing. And Ananda went there, and he informed that now Buddha is no more. Then again, after all, they are lay people. They also started crying, maybe more loudly with their wives and children. And so many groups of mallas, they started running. They started traveling to this Sal Guru. And again, of course, they were weeping and with a lot of grief. And of course, again, this Anuruddha and this Ananda, they could console them. And in different groups, they were asked to meet Buddha. And of course, they started respecting or showing their respect to Buddha's body with perfumes, wreaths of flowers, and so many garments, hundreds and sets of fine garments. As told by Buddha, just like one world, this wheel-turning monarch, Chakravarti Maharaja. In that way, the body of the Buddha also should be treated. So in that way, these mallas were, they were showing a lot of their respect to Buddha's body. 6 days, this kind of respect. So it continued from these Kushinara mallas. And on the 7th day, the mallas of Kushinara thought, we have paid sufficient honor with song and dance to the Lord's body. Now we shall burn this body after carrying him out by the south gate. Here actually 2-3 times the divine beings, they intervened. Why? Because they wanted Buddha's body to be carried by the north gate and to carry in the entire city, so that other people also can have the darshan, have the last sight of Buddha's body. But these mallas, they thought, we will carry in the south gate and we will cremate. So because of that, they could not lift Buddha's body. And when they inquired Venerable Anuruddha, then Anuruddha said, now that it is the divine will that the body should be carried in the northern gate and it should be seen by everyone. Then they agreed. They obliged to the divine will, and they carried Buddha's body in the northern gate, and everybody, they could have the last darshan, like vision or sight of Buddha's body. And in that way, Buddha's intervened here also while carrying the body. And then there is some eastern gate. They carried shrine of Makuta Bandhana, and there to burn the body. In their city, there is towards the eastern gate, there is a place called Makuta Bandhana, and there to burn the body. So then accordingly, that was the will of the Devas. They are obliged to it. Some of you, those who have visited Kushinara, you can see the Buddha's body where it was burnt and where the stupa is built. All those things you can see. So that is towards the eastern gate, though they carried in the northern gate, and again they came back to eastern gate, and in that place of Makuta Bandhana, the body was burnt. So during that time, of course, the Mallas also, with all great respect and pomp and show, with lot of perfumes and flowers, even the divine flowers also, they started falling. That's what. Even the sewers, even the drainage sewers also in that Kushinara, it was filled with the flowers. These earthly flowers also and the divine flowers also. That's what they explained here. There is something called coral tree flowers. They are very, very auspicious, very, very sacred. Those flowers also very well. Knee high, up to, let us say, some 2 feet, 2 feet flowers, knee high flowers were filled in the entire Kushinara. And then again, of course, that was the Mallas. They used to dance and sing. That was their tradition. So they continued during that cremation time also. And then when they brought it to this Makuta Bandhana for a cremation, then again they requested how to cremate the body now. Again, Ananda explained them how to cover this body with so many linen cloths, then and the perfumes and like the funeral pyre of sandalwood and all they arranged, and just like they cremate the Chakravarti Maharaja's body, in that way you have to cremate. When Ananda gave that instructions, accordingly they arranged. Now again, when they started cremating, well, burning, they wanted to burn it, but they could not do it. It did not catch the fire. It's because again the intervention of the divine beings. Why now next time, the second time they intervened? It is because, as I was telling you, this Venerable Mahākassapa, they wanted this Venerable Mahākassapa to come and see the Buddha's body. So when that was told, you have to wait, then these Mallas, they waited. So at that time, he was not very far from this Kushinara, this Venerable Mahākassapa. He was in the neighboring province, that is the Pava. Actually, he was traveling towards Kushinara from Pava, along with 500 monks, even this Mahākassapa. And he came to know that one wandering ascetic, he was carrying some coral tree flowers. And when this Mahākassapa inquired, why these coral tree flowers? Then he explained about all the things happened in Kushinara. Then immediately he also started traveling towards Kushinara along with his 500 monks. Then again, you see, among that 500 monks, actually there was one monk who expressed some kind of joy or satisfaction. See, that was the case during the time of Buddha also. There were some kind of people in the guise of Buddha's disciples. They were not tolerating Buddha's instructions. And he exclaimed, when other monks started weeping, some of them. And he said, now don't worry, you should not weep, because now there is Buddha is not there, who is to always tell us, do this, don't do this. Okay, he was always used to trouble us. In that sense, he spoke. Hmm. So that is also mentioned. His name was also Subhadda, not the other one, the Subhadda who was taught by Buddha in the last minute also, and who became enlightened. Not that Subhadda. There was one more Subhadda who just exclaimed that now it is okay that nobody is there as to do this and do that. In that way, he exclaimed. That means like this is universal. Even for Samma Sambuddha also, there are people, though with him, though they were with Buddha, they used to have some kind of disrespect, some kind of ingratitude, mm, maybe some kind of ill will also. So that is very much there, and of course may not be that group. He may be the only exception. Even he was with this Mahākassāpa's group, and why it is mentioned here means like it is there even with Buddhas also. This kind of people, this kind of people with negative mind or ungrateful minds, they are very much there. That is the idea. Why in Mahāparinibbāna Sutta also this is mentioned. Then Venerable Mahākassapa also consoled. It's all, everything is changing. All the compounded things, they're subject to decay. They're all impermanent. Don't weep. In that way, Mahākassapa, they convinced, and all of them, they came to meet Buddha. They came to this Kushinara to have the darshan, last sight of Buddha's body. And after Buddha, this Venerable Kassapa paid his respects to Buddha's body, then only they could light that, they could ignite that funeral pyre. Until then, they could not do that. It's again the will of the divine beings. So accordingly, after this Venerable Kassapa, he could pay his homage with his head to the Lord's feet. So after that only, they could ignite the funeral pyre. And actually, it is the Mahākassapa, who is like a eldest son. He is the one. He circumambulated the pyre 3 times and uncovered the Lord's feet, paid homage with his head to them, and the 500 monks did likewise. And when this was done, the Lord's funeral pyre ignited of itself. After the last homage paid by Venerable Mahākassapa and the monks, after that only, it ignited by itself, the funeral pyre. And when the Lord's body was burnt, everything was burnt. Not even the ashes of his skin or flesh, it was left out. It was left. Only the bones were left. They are called relics actually. The burnt bones. Only the bones were left. The rest, everything was burnt out. And then after that, then the Mallas of Kushinara poured perfumed water over it for the same purpose. Like again, of course, the divine perfumes also, it fell over the body on that funeral pyre. And everybody, they came to know, because so many days, you see, some 7 days they had to wait, and a few days they had to wait for the other people to have darshan of this body, and also they had to wait for this Venerable Mahākassapa. So by that time, it's not like present day where this within no time it will reach the whole world. But that time it took some time for other kings and other provinces to get this message. But by this time, by this funeral time, almost all North India, they came to know that Buddha is no more. Then they started sending messages. Now the ashes and the relics, we too require. We have to build the stupas so that many people, they will get faith in this and they can practice this. And so in that way, many requests started coming from different parts of India. The first request came from this Ajatashattu. He was like the greatest of all the kings, very dominating king he was, this Vedehi Putta, Ajatashatru. Previously, he was very, very cruel. He is the one who killed his father also. But now, after becoming Buddha's disciple, he became very great disciple, of course. And he claimed that part of the relics should come to me. I want to build the stupa. And in the same way, to these Mallas of Kushinara, these Malla rulers, they got the message from this Vedehi Putta, this Ajatashatru, Vedehi Putta. His name, mother is Vedehi, that's why he's called as Vedehi Putra, Ajatashatru. And you see that proudness also in the message. I'm a great Kshatriya like Lord Buddha. I am worthy to, I'm a great disciple of Buddha. I am worthy to receive a share of the Lord's remains. I will make a great stupa for them. And in the same way, the Lichavis of Vaishali, there is one more province, the Vaishali, the Vajjian province, they are also quite powerful. They also sent a message to these Mallas of Kushinara. We are also Kshatriyas, we are also the disciples of Buddha. We also require a part of the relics. We are worthy to receive a share of the Lord's remains, and we will make a great stupa for them. Again, the Sakyas of Kapilavatthu, they are the Sakyas, they are the relatives, they are the, that from that clan only this Buddha, he was born. So they also sent a message. Buddha is our relative or our clan member, and we have great reverence for him. We also require a part of the relics. And again, not only the Sakyas of Kapilavastu, and there were so many other groups, other kings also, the Bulayas of Allakappa, the Kolyas of Ramagama. Kolyas are like the mother's side, Buddha's mother's side. This Mahapajapati Gautami and Mahamaya, they are from this Kolya province. That's Ramagama. That Ramagama and Kolya, it's in Nepal actually, near Lumbini. So they also sent a message. After all, he is our relative. They also sent a message. We also need a part of the relics of, we also build a great stupa. Then there was one, again, that time, there were some some special Brahmins who are not only spiritual advisors, they were given some land also, some vast land also, and they were like rulers also, just like Dalai Lama, he was both spiritual head and also political head. So that kind of one Brahmin, his name was the Brahmin Vetadipa. He also heard and he also sent a message. So I too want to build a great stupa for Buddha. He was also like a ruler, a great ruler, and he also sent a message. And the Mallas of Pava, I was telling you there were one more group of Mallas. They were ruling this Pava. They also sent a message that we too want to build a great stupa. We are also great disciples of Buddha. So in that way, these 8 requests came. On hearing all this, the Mallas of Kushinara addressed the crowd saying, and now these Mallas of Kushinara, I think little bit they were confused, and also they developed some kind of possessiveness. And they said, they thought that the Lord passed away in our parish, in our area, Lord passed away. We will not give away any share of the Lord's remains, because so many requests started coming. Now they are a little bit perturbed, confused, and they declared that we don't want to share any of the relics. We don't want to share the relics of Lord Buddha. In that way, they expressed their feeling. Then at that time, there was one more Brahmin. He was also like one this political head also, just like that Vetadipa Brahmin, and this Brahmin Drona also. His name was Dona. So this Dona said, listen, lords, to my proposal. Forbearance is the Buddha's teaching. You should not say like that. Buddha always spoke about tolerance, forbearance, patience. So you should have that kind of patience. It is not right that strife should come from sharing out of the best of men's remains. You should not be possessive, should not be so selfish. By sharing of the relics, you will get more punya, and it is good for you also and good for everyone, because many people will develop a lot of faith. With the stupas, they are the symbols of faith, and many people develop faith. Let's all be joined in harmony and peace. Let us have this harmonious distribution, this sharing of the relics. In friendship, sharing out portions 8, make 8 portions. Let stupas far and wide be put up, that all may see and gain in faith. So in all corners of India, that especially North India, let these stupas be built. Don't be selfish in that way. Don't be possessive and selfish in that way. He requested these mallas of Kushinara. Well, then they agreed to his request, these mallas of Kushinara. Well, then, Brahmin, you divide up the remains of the Lord in the best and fairest way. Yeah, now it is your responsibility. You only divide all the relics, all the remains of Lord's body to these 8 groups in the fairest way. Very good, friends, said Dona. And he made a good and fair division into 8 portions, and then said to the assembly, Gentlemen, please give me the urn, and I will erect a great stupa for it. So they gave Dona the urn. Urn is like where that relics are collected. So that vessel, that urn. So for me, I don't require the relics. This urn itself is sufficient for me. I will build one great stupa for this urn also. In that way, this Dona requested. So they gave Dona the urn. This Mallas of Kushinara, happily they gave that urn to this Dona. Now there was one more group. They got this message little late. They are the Mauryas of Pippalavana. That group is called. They were also rulers, great rulers. They are called the Mauryas of Pippalavana. They heard of the Lord's passing, and they also sent a message. We are also worthy to receive a portion of the Lord's remains, and we will make a great stupa for them, and we require Lord's remains. In that way, they sent a message. There is not a portion of the Lord's remains left. They have all been divided up. So you must take the embers, and so they took the embers. The embers which are still left out. Those embers were given to this Mauryas of Pippalavana. So that is the only thing left out. All the relics, all the remains of Lord's body were distributed already. They are distributed, and even the urn is also it's given to Dona, the one who distributed this fairly. Now only these embers, some left out embers are there. Those embers you can take and you can build stupa for those embers in that way. They gave embers to this Mauryas of Pippalavana. So in that way now, 10 stupas were built. 8 stupas for the relics of Buddha by this Kapilabhattu Sakyas and this Ajatashatru of Rajgir and this Lichavi princess of Vaishali, and this Kolias and this Vettadipa, the Brahmin, and Pallava Mallas of Pava, Mallas of Kushinara, and one more, that Bulayas of Allakappa. And these people, they got the Kolyas of Ramagama. These people got the relics and they built stupas, great stupas for the relics. And this Brahmin Dona, he built this great stupa for this urn, in which the relics were collected. And then this Pippalavana, Mauryas of Pippalavana, they built one great stupa. Drona is the 9th one who got the urn. And this 10th great stupa was built by this Mauryas who got these embers. In that way, 10 great stupas were built in different parts of this North India. 8 stupas for the relics, 9th for the urn, and the 10th for the embers. That is how it was distributed in those days. So in that way, 8 portions of relics there were of him. All seeing one of these 7 remained in Jambu Deepa with honor. The 8th in Ramagama kept by the Naga kings. You see, there is one more belief that in Ramagama, it was not, though it was built by these Kolyas, but it was taken away by the Nagas. That's what is the belief. That's why after excavation of the Ramagama, they could not get it. The relics, they could not get it. It's because they say in the scriptures, it was taken away by the Naga kings. So that's what they say. The eighth in Ramagama is kept by Naga kings. One tooth of the 30 gods have kept the tooth. One tooth was kept by this Tautim Sadevas. That's what again some people they think. Kalinga's kings have won, the Nagas too. They shed their glory over the fruitful earth. Thus the seers, honored by the honored, gods and Nagas, kings, the noblest men, clasp their hands in homage, for hard it is to find another such for countless eons. Because after that also there was a lot of demand for the relics. You see the Kalingas of this Kalinga, but that is the present day Odisha, which it was defeated by Ashoka. So there was so much of demand, and I think after this distribution of the relics into 8 parts, I think it was taken away by the Naga kings, one part of the Ramagama, and some other parts were taken away by these Kalinga's kings. In that way, after that also some redistribution happened. That's what they say. Yeah. But after Ashoka, actually, these the relics from these 8 great stupas, and also which were taken away by these Kalingas and by these Naga kings may not be the Kalingas, and which were taken away by others. So again, it was like say extracted, and it was divided into 84,000. In this Ashoka, he divided all these relics collected from these different stupas. Originally, it was from the 8 stupas. Later, maybe some 10 or 11 stupas may be built, including these Kalingas and all. And from all these stupas, what this Ashoka did, because by that time Buddhism spread all over Asia, Asia in the sense South Asia, up to Greece, and here this Myanmar, Sri Lanka, and also what this Ashoka did, he collected all the relics from these 8 or 10 or 11 stupas, and he divided it into 84,000. And he made 84,000 parts, shares or parts, and he redistributed it into 84,000 stupas, which are spread all over India and South Asia, this Jambudvipa, including these Southeast Asian countries like Myanmar. That I think by the time Thailand, I think not much maybe. Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran, up to Greece. This Ashoka's empire was there, and he spread Buddha's teachings from Greece to Sri Lanka to Myanmar, through this Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran, and North India, South India. So that's why he had to build 84,000 stupas. And because of that, he extracted all the relics from these original 8 stupas. And of course, the stupas, they still remain as the symbols of worship and the places of faith where one can develop faith. And that's the end of this Mahāparinibbāna Sutta. So, if you have some questions, you can ask. Then we'll conclude.
Vandami Banteji.
Sukhivantu, Professor.
Banteji, when Mahākāśyapa was not there in Kushinara, so that the body of Buddha was not ignited. So when Mahākāśyapa reached there, so automatically the body ignited.
Correct.
So how can we understand this? as per our today's modern science.
There are so many things beyond science, Upasak, isn't it? There are so many things beyond the comprehension of scientific tools. Scientific tools are like they are based on only the 5 physical senses, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't experience the existence, the nature beyond these 5 senses through science. For that, you require the 6th sense, that is the mind sense. Mind sense should be, like say, should be activated, should be sharpened, should be developed. That's what we do in meditation, isn't it? In all meditations. Here, what we are doing, we are purifying or we are sharpening the 5 senses and we are transcending these 5 senses to get into the mind sense. And through mind sense only, we experience this nimitta or light or the sign of concentration. And through this mind sense only, we experience the jhana. Through this mind sense only, we experience this akasan chayatana, vinyanan chayatana. Through physical senses, what do you experience? You can't experience the infinite space, or you can't experience infinite consciousness. You can't experience even the light also, like stilling your mind. You can't experience jhanas. If you are stuck in your physical senses, then you are stuck in this worldliness only. You can experience only the physical objects. Through your eye sense, you can see the visible objects. Through your ear sense, you can listen to the sounds. Through your nose sense, you can only experience the smells. And the body sense, you can experience some sensations, physical feelings. So if you transcend, then you start noting the magnanimity, the greatness of the mind sense. And through that great mind sense only, you will start noting all these tremendous spiritual discoveries, spiritual truths, like the jhanas, like the light of concentration, nimitta, like this sphere of infinite space or infinite consciousness. Not only that, the ultimate matter, ultimate mind, all these kalapas and these chetasikas and chittas and dhatus and kalapas, how we know that? It's only because of our mind sense only, right? By developing the mind sense only, people discovered these dhatus and kalapas and chittas and chetasikas. And of course, Nibbana also. It's all it all comes under this mind sense domain. The science is stuck only in the 5 senses, the 5 physical senses. All the discoveries in the science, they are with these 5 physical senses. So because of that reason, whether it is divine realms, all this cosmology of Buddha also, the Buddhist cosmology, the different planes of existence, the science can't discover. The science can discover the other planets, the physical nature of the other planets and the distance at the physical level. But the so-called cosmology of these 4 woeful states, or the divine planes, or the Brahmic planes, or the Arupa Brahma planes, and beyond that, the Nibbana, only the mind sense can discover. In that way, there are so many discoveries which are beyond these physical senses, where the science is still stuck with. So science is stuck with the physical sense objects, physical world. So because of that reason, this this intervening of the devas, intervening of the Brahma, this Brahma Sahampatti, all these things are known by Aniruddha, because he is the one who is excelled in this mind sense. Even Ananda also, he could not see what's going on.
Yeah.
Even this Buddha's transcending from the physical senses to the mind sense at the time of Mahāparinibbāna, from first jhana to second jhana, it was noticed by, it was It was learnt by, it was observed by, it was observed by Venerable Anuruddha, not by Ananda or other, even some monks also. Those who have developed mind sense authoritatively, they only could observe. So in that way, the intervention of these devas with their superior powers, they did not allow, even forget about igniting the fire, even to lift the body, they did not allow. They willed. Their intention was not even to lift, because they wanted that body to be seen by everyone as a last darshan, last sight of Lord Buddha. After all, in the eons, such Buddhas, they rarely arise. Now let the people have that punya, that opportunity, chance of observing Buddha's body. And after all, Mahākassapa was a great disciple of Buddha. We too should have that opportunity, that last chance to see Buddha's body. That's why they built and see all these, many of these things. The fire, the rain, the water, the air, the Chatumaharajika Devas and the Tavatimsa Devas, they could easily control. Because of their superior minds, superior powers. And actually they are responsible for some of these elements actually. Some of the devas are responsible for some of them. And that is the cosmology, and that is the power of the mind sense. So you can't explain through your scientific tools, which are after all the sensory tools, the five sense tools, through your five sense tools, the scientific tools. You can't explain some of these very profound things which are confined to only your mind sense, confined only to your the sixth sense, which is far, far superior, far, far profound, far, far powerful. That's what all the spiritual people, they work for it. They don't work for the physical senses. They know all this physicality is anicca, it's ever changing. Today you say the light will travel in the form of photons. Tomorrow somebody will come and say, no, it will travel in the form of waves. So in that way, these scientific realities, they also come under this law of anicca, law of impermanence. But once you enter into mind sense and start discovering these relatively permanent realities like this, the different cosmos, the different planes of existence, and the ultimate reality, that is Nibbana, then only one will get the ultimate bliss, ultimate peace. That's the reason why all wise people, the ancient wise people, they just stopped working on this so-called physical sense realities. They started working on these mind sense realities to achieve greater wisdom, to achieve happiness, to achieve freedom, of course, along with wisdom, to achieve ultimate bliss. Up to this ultimate bliss of Nibbana. If that is the power of mind sense, then all these things, they are nothing actually. All these, the so-called supernormal things that happen at the time of this, why the earthquake should happen at the time of Buddha's enlightenment or Mahāparinibbāna, why the whole world system should shake. How can you explain with the physical senses? Physical sense parameters, you can't explain. They all should be understood, realized only with the mind sense parameters. Isn't it, Professor?
Thank you very much, Bante.
Good. Yes, Supersak, Vikas Patel. Yeah.
Vandami Bante ji. At the time of Nirvana, Mahāparinibbāna, Lord Buddha's body sense transcended to first, second, third, eight, up to 8 dhyana, and then come back to reverse way. And then
after not up to 8 jhana, even beyond 8 jhana also, that Nirodha Samapatti, the sphere of the cessation of feeling and perception, that Nirodha Samapatti, that also he entered, and then he, yeah, of course, not
then,
even beyond that eighth jhana also he could transcend, and then he could move down. Yeah.
and after moving down and getting fourth jhana, he get Mahāparinibbāna. Then what is the after fourth jhana? Why after fourth jhana is such a threshold of getting up to Mahāparinibbāna? What is that?
Generally say,
Why?
fourth jhana is like one junction. You know, junction, no? Railway junction. Railway in the junction, railway junction. So you can take different directions. Fourth jhana is like one junction. After achieving fourth jhana, if you want to achieve supernormal powers, then you should practice Akasanchayatana, Vijnananchayatana, fifth jhana, seventh jhana, and all you should achieve, and then you become very skillful in the supernormal powers. Or if you want to achieve enlightenment, supreme enlightenment, arhanthood, then you should, from fourth jhana, you should start observing the ultimate nature of body and mind, the vipassana knowledges, the 16 vipassana knowledges, and all. It will start again from this junction of fourth jhana. That's what happened to Buddha actually at the time of enlightenment also. At the time of this supreme enlightenment of Buddha, the same pattern Buddha followed, just like the pattern he followed in this Mahāparinibbāna, the same pattern Buddha followed, because you will get that thorough skillfulness if you transcend in this way, first jhana to fourth to fifth to sixth, seventh, eighth, and again back to seventh, eighth, sixth, seventh, sixth, fifth, and then the lower jhanas, and again coming back to the fourth jhana. Then it's like a exercise, you see, mind exercise. And from there, he could penetrate into the ultimate nature of body and mind, and he could experience the Nibbana, the ultimate enlightenment, the supreme enlightenment. Could see at that time. And here, in Mahāparinibbāna, he just entered into it. There is nothing like seeing and again coming back. It's completely surrendering into that state of Nibbana. So that's why these, even the Arhants also, they follow the same pattern. Sariputta, Moggallana, and all, they follow the same pattern. And even Ananda also, after 3 months, like say, after 3 months of Mahabuddha, Lord Buddha's Parinibbāna, when he became Arhant, and also even this Ananda's Parinibbāna, when he gave up his body, he followed almost same pattern. And actually he, in this fire kasina, he gave up his body. In fire kasina, he reached the fourth jhana, and from fourth jhana, he gives up the body. So in that way, this is one very general pattern and very authoritative pattern for all Arhants, because as you are asking the question of why fourth jhana, because fourth jhana is like a junction. From that junction only you can enter into vipassana knowledges, the ultimate, observing the ultimate realities. From fourth jhana only you can enter into the supernormal powers and achieving these different superior jhanas like the fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth jhana. And from this fourth jhana only one can enter into this, one can give up this life principle and achieve Mahāparinibbāna or Parinibbāna. So that is the uniqueness of fourth jhana, because you establish absolute equanimity in the fourth jhana, ultimate equanimity. From that ultimate and absolute equanimity, taking up other paths, other routes, it becomes easy. Yeah, that is the answer, Upasak.
नहीं, कुछ समझ में नहीं आया, वो एक्सपीरियंस से करना पड़ेगा.
समझ में आने के लिए क्या है, क्या समझ में नहीं आया?
वो उसमें क्या पिकुलरिटी है फिफ्थ जाना में और थर्ड जाना से अलग क्या पिकुलरिटी? एकाग्रत अपना उपेक्षा तो है, उपेक्षा से इक्वेमिनिटी से जंक्शन हो जाता है, ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? यानी वही क्यों?
That's what I was telling, no? So in third jhana also, there is some kind of wobbling of the mind, disturbance of the mind, because there is some kind of sukha. The jhana factor sukha will be there in third jhana. But in fourth jhana, even that sukha will not be there. That means the mind thoroughly establishes in the equanimity and ekagrata, even without this sukha. And in second jhana, this little bit of joy will be there. This sukha and joy and all, they disturb your equanimity to some extent. And in the fifth jhana, it is akasancayatana, because you completely transcend and the mind will expand into the whole infinity, and you can't focus on your ultimate matter, ultimate mind. If you want to work on this vipassana knowledges, it's like completely like it's a different kind of happiness. This akasancayatana. And in the seventh jhana, it is vijnanancayatana. There again, you can't focus on one thing. So in the fifth jhanas, you develop a different skill of making your body into, like say, to expand, to contract, to become so big, to become so small. All those different skills you develop in these arupa jhanas, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th jhana. But from the fourth jhana, the thorough one-pointedness, thorough focusedness, and all the thorough stillness of the mind, it will help you to penetrate into the ultimate realities of body and mind. And also to enter into Nibbana, to experience Nibbana, that is enlightenment, to enter into Nibbana, that is Parinibbāna, that absolute focusedness, absolute stillness that will be achieved because of this absolute equanimity. That is the significance of fourth jhana. Even in understanding this also, it's not a big thing. You need not experience it to understand this. This is as simple as that.
Thank you.
Fourth jhana is the most stable jhana, most sharpest jhana, most still jhana. Like even the railway junctions also, where they will make the junctions, which is the safest, which is most appropriate to take up different routes. In such a place only they make the railway junction, because of the so many advantages of taking diversion in different routes, safety, a lot of space is available in a railway junction to take different paths. That's why they make junction. In the same way, this fourth jhana has all those qualities of stillness of the mind, sharpness of the mind, equanimity of the mind, without these other jhana factors like vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, or without this distracted mind or completely expanded mind, like the infinity of space, infinity of consciousness. Completely focused, one-pointedness is very much there in fourth jhana. That's why it's a beautiful junction for to take the journey in different directions. Isn't it?
अभी समझ में आया.
वर्ली एग्जांपल एक रिलेट करने से अच्छा से समझते. करेक्ट, फाइन, ठीक है ऊपर से. यस, उपासिका वीणा श्रीकांत.
वंदामि भंते जी.
सुखी हंतु उपासिका.
Bhante ji, without request, Buddhas won't teach. So is it for the receptivity of the...
Correct. Mainly it is for receptivity. Because when a person is stubborn, he won't ask. Isn't it? When he thinks that I know, then he won't ask. And if you teach such kind of person, it's of no use. It's like teaching one stone. So that's the reason why always all wise teachers, they see that some gradient is created. Then only anything will move, you see. When there is no gradient or slope, nothing will move. Same thing with this knowledge also. They should seek for it. Then only they will be in a position to receive it. And then only they receive it. Otherwise, when they don't have that humbleness or that receiving concern or interest, then it is like, then their minds will be closed. Then whatever you teach, it will not penetrate into their mind. That's why I have observed in so many occasions, Buddha used to confuse them or strike their ego or just simply go away from that place so that they should come and request. There are so many ways and means, like Buddhas and the great masters, they used to create that receptivity or that gradient for anything to flow, water to flow, air to flow, temperature to flow. There should be some lower and there should be some higher potential should be there. Even the electricity to flow, there should be some difference in that, like say that charges. Then only the flow will happen. That wise people, they create it consciously. They create it, and then only they teach.
Ji. Lovely. So Bhante ji, yeah, I got it. Thank you so much. Now, just now when Bhante ji was talking about Jhana 4 being the point, being the junction point for either the exit or for developing the supernormal powers. So like this, there is something called that every human there are multiple opportunities to exit the earth plane. Like it is said that there are seven possibilities are there for the soul to exit or the awareness to exit the body. So is that true? I don't know why I'm asking it, but it is also about the junctions. Like the consciousness is up to a certain level and now it can exit, and whichever is the mental state, from there the new birth will be taken. So junctions, the importance of junctions is what I'm contemplating right now.
Give me one example.
So in astrology, it is said, like suppose somebody had a near-death experience, because it is like the consciousness chose to stay back at that point of time, because there are certain experiences on the earth realm which are still to be completed. And then there will be another opportunity for the exit. And that is where we have the cases of people, even on the funeral pyre also, they woke up. And then they died after 7 days because it was not the time for them to die. So something similar. Yeah.
See here, Buddha's concentration or botheration is not about the death. Even after death also, a person may take rebirth in the lower realms also. Or he may take up birth in the human realm or in the divine realms. So here the concern, here the junction example, why we discussed about that junction, it is to, like say, to experience the different journeys in this mental purity itself.
Ji.
So in that sense, we are using this word junction. So in the fourth jhana, so one can experience it's an absolute pure state of mind. From that state, one can take up this path of absolute liberation, experiencing Nibbana or entering Nibbana, like supreme enlightenment or Parinibbāna. Or if you want to achieve some supernormal powers, then you can progress in this fifth jhana, sixth jhana, seventh jhana. In that sense, the junction that we used here in this context is to take up some ultra superior mental powers. To take up some two different, especially two unique journeys. The journey towards supreme ultimate truth of ultimate material, ultimate matter and ultimate mind, and thereby, and also the ultimate liberation, that is Nibbana, that is one path. Or the supernormal powers, one becoming many, many becoming one, and tremendous supernormal powers. For these two achievements, the fourth jhana is the junction. In that sense, I think one has to understand about this, the junction analogy that I discussed in this fourth jhana, how fourth jhana acts as a junction. All these things that you are saying, they come up from the funeral pyre. It's all the functioning of their intentions, their desires, their karma. Mm. So here I don't see any reason to bring in this analogy of junction here. It's all like the desire is playing the role here. Live that near-death experience. Though your mind is, like say, the body is not supporting, or the mind is showing interest in transcending the body, but still immediately the mind is desiring for the same body, then you will come back. Here, I don't see this analogy of junction. It's all the game of the desires, that's all, game of the defilements, which wants to have the same body or which wants to transcend the same body. It's all because of the desire thing.
Ji. Thank you, Bhante Ji. Bhante Ji, I have one more question.
Yeah, yes.
Ji, in one of the suttas, it was that there was a time when Buddha was kind of, Ananda was with him, and Buddha suggested, like not directly, but it was that if there is a, like even after a certain age, he could have extended his age, biological age, to continue teaching. But Ananda did not get it at that time. And then Buddha decided to exit. That is where the, what is that other name?
The same in this Mahāparinibbāna Sutta, it is there. First, second.
So is it not possible, because Buddha is gone beyond the desires, so is it not possible that he sees that humans still need, or his teachings are still needed, and then he can take the call himself and decide to stay back? Because that was the time, I'm forgetting the name, Kala, or that was prompting him to leave. That sorry?
Kala Niyama.
Kala Niyama, yeah. And that is when Buddha said yes. And finally he decided to exit 3 months before the Mahāparinibbāna. So, so then seeing the need of the humans, was it not possible that Buddha himself decided to continue still being in the body?
No, Buddha knew it very well that there was no need. By that time, the teachings were spread. It was spread all over. It was spreading like wildfire in all directions. It was spreading like wildfire, and there was no need. And as I told you, like when the body has got that maturity, and it is now the time to give up that Jivitendriya life force, then with some will he would have stayed, but there was no need to use his will and stayed for a longer time, because by the time his mission was accomplished. And actually this Ananda, he was in a way, he was in a remorseful way, and it's like when somebody is in remorse, they try to, like say, blame the others. That's what happening actually at the time with Ananda also. Oh, you better stay, and you would have stayed for a longer time and all. Then Buddha has to show him, no, it is your mistake. You would have asked. I gave some broad hints so many times. You could not catch. If you are so much interested in helping the universe, helping the world. So this remorse, actually, it has so many dimensions. The people who are remorsing, they want to, like say, get something out of expectation, out of blaming others. So Buddha wants to curb all the defilements in Ananda's mind, and thereby his grief and remorse. So if you think that if the world requires, if you think that the world requires, now the world doesn't require actually my living, my continuation of my life force. But this Ananda was insisting, no, you have to live like children, Well, like when children, they want to, they pester on the parents. What the parents do? and showing that you don't have concern, you don't like me, then what the parents do? No, it is your responsibility. You would have asked, you would have told, you would have asked. In that way, parents say, no. In that sense, Buddha, he is actually making him to realize that it is you who should be blamed by yourself. I gave broad hints also. And then later, of course, Ananda also realized now his mission is accomplished. Now there is no need for Buddha. But that time, the mind is not in a position to comprehend. It was emotionally excited, Ananda's mind. And he wanted Buddha to live. And if he says that no, everything is accomplished, then he was not in a position to comprehend that. At that time, there should be a blow. One has to give some blow. Why you have not asked before? It's your mistake. Then he could be pacified temporarily. Then later he will come to know, he will realize that his mission is accomplished. In that sense, you see, Buddha, according to the maturity of the minds of the people at that juncture, Buddha's answers, it makes sense. It will handle that situation, that kind of decisions, that kind of expressions. They're not like ultimate truths. You would have requested me. That's not like an ultimate truth. By that time, Buddha already knew everything, whatever has happened. The mission is accomplished. But to subdue his emotion, Buddha has to blame him only, Ananda only. So in that way, there are so many ways and means to handle the emotions of the people. This is one of the ways.
Thank you, Anteji.
Yeah, any other thing? Okay, we'll conclude. Bhavatu sabba mangalam rakkantu sabba devata sabba buddhanubhavena sabba dhammanubhavena sabba sanganubhavena sada swati bhavantu te sukhi bhaveyan nidduko aham nicca aham viya pita cha me sukhi hontu majjata chataverino imam hi gammante dhamme satta hontu sukhi sada tato parancha rajjesu chakkavale sujantuno sat sukhi hontu mangal ho. May all of you be happy, healthy, and peaceful. May all beings also be happy, healthy, and peaceful. Sukhi hontu.